Welcome to our Friday night SmackDown live watch along with your man, with your favorite AJ from Wrestling News, aka Wrassingh from Wrestling News, and here we are we're watching SmackDown, and Becky Lynch, the man Becky Lynch, is actually out here to open the show, just flaunting her SmackDown Women's Championship as she makes her way to the ring. I'm pretty sure Bianca Belair is watching right now, and she's not very happy because that belt, a lot of people think, and she thinks herself, that should have never been lost and should have still been with her because Bianca Belair, people find like she carried that belt for a period of time, and Becky Lynch just came back, got the belt, got the title, got the shot. Without actually climbing up the hierarchy. So people are mad about it. Bianca Belair is mad about it. But of course, this Sunday, everything could change course. We're seeing Bianca Belair going to be taking on Becky Lynch one-on-one. So things could change. But let's see what happens. But for now, it is Becky Lynch who is the champion. And she is definitely flaunting that SmackDown Women's title. But let's see what happens. But for now, let's see if SmackDown is able to impress us. I mean, this week's Raw was great. Raw was fantastic. This week's AEW Dynamite was fantastic. This week's Impact Wrestling was fantastic. Let's see if Raw can deliver just as good of a show tonight. And we're getting a hype video. We're getting a video from Bianca Belair's homecoming that we saw last week, which saw Mayor Glenn Jacobs, aka Kane, return to give Bianca Belair the key to the city, the key to the town of Knoxville, Tennessee. It's a very special moment that we saw last week. We're getting a little highlight from that moment. Very interesting for sure. So you're watching SmackDown Live Watch Along. Today is September 24th, and I'm very excited to be doing this. Tonight, we complete officially 2 weeks of doing a botch right there. So tonight we complete 2 weeks of doing these live watch alongs, and it's been a total fun. It's been a total pleasure, and I hope that you guys are having just as much fun as we are having doing these watch alongs for you. It's been a great time. It's been a great journey. I'm having a lot of fun. Hello to everybody out here. Good to see everybody. Good to see all of you. Hey KJ, how are you doing today? So, we're going to be right after this show. We're all pulling a double duty. Of course, Friday is all about double duties. And as soon as we go off the air with our SmackDown Watch Along, KJ is going to be taking over along with me. And we're going to be going over AEW Rampage, which is the Grand Slam edition of Rampage. It looks like a very promising show itself. Of course, the show has already been taped. It was taped this past Wednesday in a special 4-hour taping at the Arthur Ashe Stadium. So KJ, you were right. It was all about a 4-hour night that same night, but only 2 hours of it was televised on Wednesday, and the remaining 2 hours, of course, is going to be televised tonight in the form of Rampage. So it looks to be a promising show. I went over a bit of spoilers. I went over the first match of spoiler, but I stopped right there. So I didn't go any further. But I feel like, from what I've read from the very first match, it's supposed to be a very promising, a very great show. And Will YM is here. William, how are you doing? Hello, beautiful people. Yes, it's all about the beauty right now, and we can see in the ring, the beautiful Becky Lynch is there. And she looks like a man on a mission. She looks like she has something to say to the fans. Let's see what it is. The fans are definitely behind her. They're chanting Becky, Becky all over again, not even giving her time to speak. Yeah, it is a Becky party tonight. People are loving Becky Lynch.
What a party they threw for Bianca. She went back to her hometown, and they threw her this tremendous celebration for,
it's a bit too hard for heels when they're loved too much, and they can't be the best heel that they want to be because the fans love her so much. And that's why MJF has a bit of an advantage, because even his own parents hate him. So his heel, whatever the character he's playing, is definitely working. It's working when your own parents despise you. and apologize to the fans for bringing you into this world. I mean, that is an ultimate heel move. What a heel family for sure. Love MJ's mom and his dad.
That's okay.
Great
That's
people.
okay. I like cake, but that's okay. As the better man, I went out there to shake her hand and say congratulations. Now, here's where it gets interesting, because unprovoked, she had to try and assert her dominance and wouldn't let go of my hand. Had to show all her little friends how big and strong she is. But what choice did I have? What choice did I have? Real greatness isn't made in the body, it is made in the mind. And this is the law of the jungle, baby. It's hit or be hit. So what choice did I have?
So Becky Lynch is out here. She's trying to explain her actions from last week.
To embarrass her in front of her mom and her dad and all of her friends in her hometown and her high school teacher. I didn't want to do that, but what choice did I have? I am the better man. And as the better man, I wanted to give her time to recalibrate after her shameful, embarrassing defeat at SummerSlam. But no. She goaded me. She goaded me into a rematch.
KJ knows what's up. It's definitely gold.
What choice
Yeah.
will I have? What choice will I have? But remember this. Remember when I tell you this.
So Becky Lynch was out here. She was trying to explain her actions from last week, really telling to the fans that she did not mean to embarrass Bianca Belair in front of her family, her friends, her first prom date, her teachers, nothing. But she had to do it because as the king of the jungle, as the better man, you have to make such hard moves. And that's what she had to do last week. Bianca Belair obviously not too happy, or a bit too happy, as she makes her way down to the entrance ramp and now entering the ring. She's dancing. She looks cheerful. She looks really happy. So I'm not too sure if it's the crowd that's making her go wild, or if it's what Becky Lynch is saying right now is making her go happy. But her reaction is kind of absurd, considering what happened to her last week, considering what Becky Lynch just said. If I was Bianca Belair, I'd make my way down to the entrance ring, down the ramp, and down to the ring very angry. But instead, she's waving her pony. She looks very happy. She's smiling. I don't know what's up with that, but I find that whole ponytail thing and the dance a little weird, especially considering the timing right now. I know. Fans can't keep it in mind. And Bianca Belair, being the happy babyface that she is, she didn't even get it close to the reaction that Becky Lynch did when she made her reaction. Wow.
First of all, keep my mama and my daddy name out your mouth. That's what you gonna do.
Okay, so she does not want Becky Lynch to even mention her mom and her dad. Okay.
You did beat me at SummerSlam, and you did embarrass me in my hometown.
Bianca Belair saying that
That's what's gonna happen on Sunday.
Becky Lynch, even though she beat Bianca at SummerSlam, she did embarrass Bianca in her hometown, but she's not going to be repeating it this Sunday at Extreme Rules because Bianca Belair is determined to win the title. I don't know, guys. I don't know if this is the best way to open SmackDown with these two. You closed the show with these two last week. Now you're opening it with these two. I don't know. I'm not excited for Extreme Rules, honestly, because the match card to me is quite predictable. And especially the Universal title match that you have with Demon Balor. I feel like it's so out there that Demon has to lose, that Roman Reigns has to win, that people don't even care right now. I mean, fine, I get it that Bianca Belair versus Becky Lynch is sort of a big deal. But the fact that you had to close the show with that feud last week and open it with this again, it kind of shows that they're not very interested in really building up to the match themselves. I don't know. But not a very big fan of what we're watching right now. William Will.i.am is obviously going to be doing. He's starting off his new series with his previews and prediction, which is going to be starting out with this Sunday's Extreme Rules, and he's going to be predicting the whole match card as well as giving you a little preview of the show. So he can't wait to do it, and I can't wait to see it, and I know you can't wait to see it either. Alright, so Bianca. Bianca's still talking, asking Becky Lynch to put some respect on her name.
Okay,
Uh,
so you're only good because I showed the world how to be great.
so I was watching Impact Wrestling last night, and Deanna told Mickey James that Deanna's obviously the Impact champion. She's a double two belt Deanna, and she told Mickey James that she's not gonna respect her because at Impact Wrestling they don't they have to earn respect. They just don't get respect because of who they are. And I feel like Bianca Belair asking Becky Lynch to put some respect to her name is still kind of like weird because Becky Lynch, we know her. We've been seeing her on the main roster for quite some time. Bianca Belair is still kind of new. So for her to be demanding respect, I don't know. For me, it's a little weird because she really needs to earn the respect. She's been around for some time on the main roster as well. I get it. But she really needs to prove herself a little more for the fans to start respecting her a lot more. I mean, of course, she has a great fan base already, but to be more over, to make sure that the heel that she's in a feud with doesn't get cheered, the way that they should not. And, Bianca Belair actually gets cheered when she's in a feud against a heel. She has to work harder and, work harder to gain more respect. And just like that, instead of a handshake, Becky Lynch with a slap to the face of Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair is kind of astonished. Becky Lynch once again raising the title high up, really flaunting it right now. Bianca Belair is none too happy. She cannot believe how spoiled Becky Lynch is acting right now, and she goes after Becky. Weird. We sort of ended last week with sort of a brawl, Becky Lynch kind of ruining Bianca Belair's party. And we're again seeing some kind of a brawl again. Becky Lynch is really going after Bianca one more time. Now the rock bottom on Bianca Belair. Now Bianca Belair with the reverse attitude adjustment. Can I call it a reverse attitude adjustment? Because we've seen it from John Cena before, and they used to call it the reverse attitude adjustments back then. So I'm gonna call it that way right now. But Becky Lynch is now laying flat. Bianca Belair took off her jacket and she's headed back to the backstage area. Uh, am I a fan of how the show opened? Definitely not. This is not the match that I'm looking forward to the most at Extreme Rules. And I think that we already saw this feud closing the show last week. For it to open again, I don't know if it was the best choice. But again, hopefully they're not going to be closing the show as well. So I guess we should be happy that we won't be seeing them anymore tonight. But let's see. Let's see how the rest of the card turns out. But I feel like last night's Impact Wrestling opener was better than the opener to SmackDown this week. Big statements. I'm making some bold statements, but I'm telling you as this. I enjoyed last night's Impact opener, I'm actually not kayfabing it at all. I'm actually being true. Last night's opener for Impact was better than SmackDown. And Tony Storm is here with Elias 2.0 and Shinsuke Nakamura. I feel bad for Tony Storm right now. She's a tremendous athlete. She's got everything going for herself, except for being paired up with Elias 2.0 and Shinsuke Nakamura. Little weird right there. William says that this match would be a false count anywhere Extreme Rules match. Interesting thought, William. It's an Extreme Rules pay-per-view. Every single match should be an Extreme Rules. I was very surprised when people started talking about how they just made Roman Reigns versus Finn Balor into an Extreme Rules match. I was quite surprised because the pay-per-view is Extreme Rules. You cannot expect to have a non-extreme match on the show. But yet, this is something that we do get, and this is something that fans expect. A little weird. When the whole pay-per-view is about extreme, they really, have to make sure that every single match on the card is extreme. But yet they don't, which is surprising to say the least. Yes, KJ. And that's why I know that, people should be tuning into Impact a little more because honestly, after what I watched last week, not last week, last night, I'll tell you, there were some low points, there were a lot of high points, and one of the best points of Impact Wrestling was the very short, very few commercials out there. And actually, the commercials were quite entertaining too, because you know how those very cringy tele commercials are, how they are. So those were the only commercials that were airing throughout the show, and they were short, and they were to the point, and they were cringy, and they were kind of like comical. I enjoyed them. So if you just don't enjoy the product, you can tune in for the commercials. They're great. All right, guys, I'm just gonna be taking a little break as we are on commercial right now, and I'll be right back as soon as SmackDown goes back on after the commercials. So stay tuned, and I will be right back. Thank you so much, and of course, don't go anywhere after this show because you know what time it is after this show. Right after we go off the air with this one, KJ and I are going to be taking over for AEW's Rampage Live watch along, which is going to be right following SmackDown. It's going to be a 2 hour watch along, following which KJ is going to be pulling a double duty yet again. He's going to be doing a review for both the Raw and for both SmackDown and Rampage combined, so you don't want to miss that either. All right, guys, I'll be right back and stay tuned. Wow, surprisingly, that commercial wasn't too long. SmackDown did a good job tonight with the commercial. It was a pretty short commercial. I don't know if they're not getting a lot of advertisers or what, but they are back, and I'm seeing Elias 2.0 right here. He's happy as well. He's dancing. He's bringing out Shinsuke Nakamura. Wow. This is the worst thing that I've ever seen in a long time. These are some CGI or somewhat animated pyros. These are not even real. I don't know if they want to call them pyro, but I don't. I'm not a big fan of this whole. Uh, what do you call it? Like AR? Yes, the whole augmented reality, mixed reality stuff, where they have these 3D graphics just inserted in during the entrance, where they have this 3D render of Roman Reigns flying. Now we have this 3D pyro going off. I'm not a very big fan of it. It's kind of weird. Not a fan of it at all. Yeah, I think I would have preferred the actual pyro better. I'm not sure if this is something that they don't want to do or no. I know that they do pyros for superstars on regular Raw and SmackDown too. So I don't know why. If they really wanted to have pyro for Shinsuke, they could have had it. But they chose to go with the whole AR, MR, whatever you want to call it, that kind of stuff. It's fine. Okay, so now we're seeing the same AR stuff for Apollo Crews as he makes his way to the ring. There are some lion statues, that are animated as well. And this one, it's working well for him actually because it goes with the whole thing. Now it's not cool because he was actually making his way to the ring when he was actually on the stage. Those lions were there, but now when he was making his way to the ramp, they were gone. So stuff like that, it's a little overproduced. People call it that way, but if you're actually daring to make it, to work with AR and actually tease it that way, you better be able to pull it off in the proper way. Because 1 second they're there, the second they disappear, it kind of takes away the whole appeal of AR and makes it look more cringy than produced properly. So it gets overproduced. So you gotta be that's something that they, I believe, have to perfect and really work on. A beautiful thumbnail. I know. And we had Roman Reigns on the thumbnail last week as well. But I acknowledge Roman Reigns. He's been carrying the brand on his back. So he will be probably on the thumbnail every single time. Okay. And remember the fireworks for Roman Reigns on Raw. Yeah, William. Alright, so we're seeing Shinsuke Nakamura versus Apollo Crews. Alright. I don't know if this is the match that I wanted, but this is the match we're getting anyways. Okay. So Shinsuke Nakamura, King Nakamura, whatever you would like to call him, he is in the ring right now against Apollo Crews, and he's in a dominant position. I don't know, guys. I don't know that if I'm the biggest fan of this show so far. I mean, last week's SmackDown was nice. I did have some complaints with it. I did say that last week's SmackDown was did not open on the right note. I said that I did not want to see Big E in that tag team match with Finn Balor because I felt like it was his first ever TV appearance on the WWE. Ever since winning the championship, I felt like they could have booked Big E better for his first ever appearance, but I found it a bit of a letdown. But this week's show, it's an Extreme Rules Go Home show, so I had higher expectations. But the way that the show opened, maybe it worked for some people, it didn't work for me. And the first match that we're seeing tonight, maybe it's working for some people, but it's definitely not working for me. Not the biggest fan of the way the show opened tonight. But let's see, let's be patient. Let's stay tuned in as the night goes on. Maybe it will get better. I'm not, I'm so tempted to actually give the show a very early rating, predict a very early rating, which I will not because, it would not be fair to predict it so early on. But you know what? It's wrestling. It's not about fairness. It's about what you like to do and what you want. So I'm gonna give it a very early rating. It's a predicted rating for the rest of the show. I'll give it a 2.5. No, actually, no. I will give it a 2 out of 5, not even 2.5, because let's see. Let's see how the show turns out. But because from what I've seen right now, it has all the vibe around it is of a show of a very average match card and a very average show. So I hope that I'll be proven wrong. But from what I'm seeing right now, it seems like it's going to be an average show. So I'll give it a 2 out of 5. But let's see. I hope that I'll be proven wrong. Will Wyam says that he's got Shinsuke Nakamura winning. I don't even know who I've got winning, William. I'm not even interested in this match at all. Okay. And KJ knows that he knows a thing or two about my rating prediction. I'm always right, and he knows it. So I hope that this one I'm wrong because I would not want to be right because I'm going to be sitting through 2 hours of this show, and I would not want to be so bored or so drained before we tune into Rampage because Rampage is supposed to be a great show, a great match. So really looking forward to it. Okay, and just bear with me for a second as what I'm trying to do here. This is the hardest part of doing what we do is actually staying active on all sorts of accounts. So right now I'm actually posting on Instagram a little thing as I'm talking to you as well. So all right. So the commercial is still going on, and just like I said earlier, Impact Wrestling was so much better. I mean, I was seeing such entertaining commercials during Impact Wrestling. I can't even tell you how entertained I was. So I did not want the commercials to end. There was a point because they were so uh, cringy and entertaining. So if you know what I mean, you will tune in next week. If not for the show itself, which I felt like was a great show. We got some matches that some people might call them dream matches. If you're into Impact Wrestling, you know what I mean. We're getting Diana versus Mickey James very soon. Just great lineup. They have Big Cass on there. So if you miss Enzo or Amore or Big Cass, Big Cass is on Impact. Next week he's going to be fighting in a street fight. So you've got some good lineup there at Impact Wrestling as well. And if Braun Strowman actually decides to just join, Impact Wrestling, it's definitely gonna bring in more eyes to the product and definitely more commercials with it. So, and now we're back from the break, and Shinsuke Nakamura is in a dominant position, just like Will Wyam says. Even KJ says it. He says that Shinsuke for the win. Okay, But I don't know if it's just me or you guys think the same. But I cannot give Shinsuke the same level of respect that I did give Baron Corbin as the king. I mean, Baron Corbin, I felt like he really carried the whole king gimmick by his heart. He really meant it when he said that he was the king. So I really started calling him King Corbin as well. But for Shinsuke, I just call him Shinsuke because I don't really see this whole king stuff going on with him. Even though I know that Shinsuke is kind of inspired by the king of pop himself, Michael Jackson, there is some inspiration behind his old character. But still, I cannot put the same level of respect for Shinsuke as a king that I could put very easily for Baron Corbin. And the best part about all of it is that Baron Corbin is just as entertaining as Happy Corbin as he was when he was king. So Baron Corbin really been impressive these past few, should I say years or maybe months, but he's been impressive for sure. That was a near fall. Shinsuke was almost there with the win, and it's been interesting. Wow. All right, guys. So if you're joining us just now, if you're joining us for the first time here on Wrassingh YouTube, welcome to our live stream as we cover and we watch every single wrestling show out there live on YouTube. We just started doing it last week. We started out with WWE shows, but now we cover WWE, AEW, NXT 2.0, NXT UK. We cover Impact Wrestling, soon to be covering ROH as well. So if you love wrestling and not just a particular promotion, you're gonna love our broadcasts, our live streams. And if you happen to love a particular promotion, you're still gonna love our broadcast because we covered that promotion right here on Wrestling News. I'm predicting Logan Paul is having. Oh my god! Wow. You know what? When I said 2 out of 5 of rating for SmackDown tonight, if Logan Paul actually shows up, that rating might just drop to a 1. And guys, William and KJ, you were both right. These people have actually won. Shinsuke. So Shinsuke Nakamura has actually won, and Pat McAfee is more than happy to see Shinsuke winning. And again, we are back with those AR pyros, and they're going off in the digital frame right there. And Apollo Cruz cannot believe it. He cannot believe that he lost to Shinsuke. I mean, the Nigerian king has lost to King Shinsuke Nakamura. I'm not sure what the deal with Pat McAfee is. I don't know. KJ William, I know you guys. I think that you like Pat McAfee. I mean, a lot of fans out there do love him, but for me, I feel like he just gets a bit too annoying at times. I don't know if that's what the whole idea behind him is, but I'm not the biggest fan of him myself. All right, so now we're seeing a recap from last Monday on Raw, where Roman Reigns pulled off a double duty. Of course, he was in the opening match on the show in a tag team match, and then he closed the show as well. So Roman Reigns was really impressive this past Monday, and he not only carried SmackDown, but he also is going to be hopefully carrying tonight's show as well because tonight's show has been dreadful so far, at least for me. So hopefully Roman Reigns will come out and change this whole show for good tonight. Let's see what happens. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my guest. He is one half of the Street Profits, Montez Ford. This makes no sense. We just got a hype video. We just got a recap from this past Monday with Roman Reigns, and then now we are cut to Kayla Braxton, who's interviewing one half of the Street Profits. It makes little to no sense for me because why did you even have that hype video for Roman Reigns if he wasn't gonna be in some kind of a backstage segment himself? Makes no sense. This, Impact Wrestling had a better match card order yesterday than SmackDown does tonight. Not a biggest fan of what's going on right now. Not really buying into this whole thing tonight.
But make no mistake about it, he's going to be back for extreme rules to commence this whole entire takeback season that we speak of all the time. I mean, we've already beaten the Usos twice, and that daddy cousin Roman, the tribal chief, acknowledged has been running them ragged. Beat up this guy.
Okay, William Wright, there was a very interesting comment. He found Pat McAfee good on NXT, but not a good commentator on SmackDown. Couldn't agree with you more, William. KJ, I know that you don't mind Pat. Yeah, a lot of people don't mind him. They feel like he's entertaining. He brings something unique to the table. They feel like he's really, as Michael Cole has said himself, he has revamped Michael Cole's career with his style and his creativity and his energy, which I feel like it's true. But okay, now we've cut back to Roman Reigns segment. I feel like this should have come before the whole Caleb Braxton interview with Montez. But here we are. We're hearing from Roman Reigns now. Hopefully,
Montez Ford had the chutzpah to call the greatest tag team of all time, the Usos, your cousins, bloodline bitches.
Okay.
I want a match with them tonight. My tribal chief, in 48 hours, you're defending the Universal Championship against an undefeated demon in an extreme.
All right, so it feels like we're going to be seeing Roman Reigns versus Montez for tonight. And Paul Heyman is concerned about Roman Reigns step into the ring with Montez Ford. I mean, this guy, it's good. I guess people are happy. We hear the crowd cheering if those are actual cheers and not digitally inserted cheers. Oh, we did hear.
Why are you still here? I understand it.
We did hear the crowd cheering when Paul Heyman announced Roman Reigns versus Montez Ford as the main event of tonight's SmackDown. But I just want to point to this one thing, and it's that when Roman Reigns said that he wanted to fight Montez Ford tonight, Paul Heyman looked a bit concerned. Now, my question here is, Roman Reigns is booked as this monster. He's been champion for quite some time. He is expected to be champion for quite some time. He is booked as this unstoppable force for all the right reasons. So Paul Heyman, I feel like for him to get concerned, with the fact that he wants to fight Montez tonight is not a good look, because he's Roman Reigns. Montez Ford should not be anything in front of him, should not be any kind of a threat to Roman Reigns. But he sure was, and I just didn't get why. I didn't understand why. So, yeah, so we are on commercial right now, yet again. And, so KJ found that interesting. Should be a good match, though. I mean, Montez Ford versus Roman Reigns. Something I did not expect we'd see tonight, but here we are. So let's see. It's true, William. Undefeated Demon will not stay undefeated for way too long. No way. No way is it going to happen. No way. So the power of the commercials is way too strong. Too many commercials. Surprisingly, I haven't seen one Extreme Rules commercial tonight. So that's a good thing. Not something that I look forward to every time I tune in. So, yeah, that's great. No Extreme Rules commercials so far. Wow. And, doing these watch-alongs is good, it's fun. But when you're under the weather, it gets a bit harder. So I'm glad for caffeine that's keeping me alive tonight, keeping my engine up and running. But I feel like the SmackDown, it would have helped if SmackDown was actually more interesting than it is tonight. But I feel like AEW's Rampage is going to help, bring the energy back to my body because SmackDown certainly is not doing that part tonight. SmackDown is not the show that's really got me excited or really got me tuned in because I'm not even excited for the rest of the show. Now we know that we're not going to hear from either Roman Reigns or Paul Heyman. Maybe a few backstage segments with Paul Heyman here and there, but we're not going to see him in the ring until the final hour or final 30 minutes of the show. So for the rest of the show, I don't know what to expect. Just like Will Wyam said, maybe we can expect Logan Paul to somehow make an appearance or something like that, which is something that I'm not looking forward to. I'm pretty sure you guys are not either. But let's see. Let's see. So far, 2 out of 5 might have been a bit of a overstatement. I will reduce that point to a 1 out of 5. The show has underdelivered so far. Not a big fan. Not a fan of the booking at all. This is the go home show, the go home episode for Extreme Rules, and the opening was basically a deja vu from what we saw last week on SmackDown. The way it ended, it was this deja vu of the same thing, except for Mayor Kane, which is bad. It was a step down from it, and then we had this Apollo Crews versus King Nakamura. I don't know how that match helped at all. What that match did, I didn't get it. And then we now know that the main event is supposed to be Montez Ford versus Roman Reigns. Let's see. Let's see how it turns out. But so far, a 1 out of 5, an early prediction for the ratings of SmackDown tonight. All right, now we're seeing Sonya Deville and her guy, walking down the corridor. I don't know what the guy's saying. Okay, Paul Heyman is there.
Welcome to Philadelphia. No, Paul, we can't tell you where Brock Lesnar's going to be drafted. No, Paul. Again. No. Are you in on this too? Stop with Brock.
Wow, is that a MJF reference? Is that a MJF reference? Look at Sonya Deville's tie right there. Look at the tie that she's wearing. I mean, that cannot help but remind you of MJF every time I open my closet myself and I see a Burberry scarf. It reminds me of MJF, and now when I'm seeing Sonya Deville, it reminds me of MJF. Well, not the smartest move by whoever chose her wardrobe tonight, because that screams MJF.
I bet you can. And then, after the match, then we'll talk about the draft.
All right, so they are. Paul Heyman definitely is concerned about the draft. He was concerned about where the Tribal Chief will be drafted, where Brock Lesnar will be drafted, and that reminds me that on September 30th, our very own KJ and William are going to be coming up with their own draft. They're going to be doing their own picks. So KJ and William are going to be drafting superstars of Raw and SmackDowns to each other's brands, and I'm very excited to see their picks for the show. Had I been in charge, which I'm not, I would have definitely drafted Roman Reigns to Raw and maybe Brock Lesnar to SmackDown, because both the shows need the star power. But let's see. I'm very excited to see their picks. I hope that they don't disappoint me and keep both the roster equally balanced and have the equal star power for both the brands. And I hope that WWE does the same, because right now Raw, it feels like a brand that is in desperate need for some star power, where SmackDown has all the star power going on, thanks to Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. But let's see what happens. And William, of course, is excited, and we are just as excited, if not even more, for their pick on the WWE draft. All right, so we are now getting this is a bit ridiculous. So we are now getting another highlight from a few weeks ago. I believe this from last week, and 2 weeks prior, when Seth Rollins sent Edge to the hospital after their match. I feel like this is the third highlight that we're seeing, from weeks prior on the show. We already saw one with, Bianca Belair. Now we're seeing it with Edge. We saw one another in between. The show has been a mess. The show has been booked so poorly. I'm not a fan of it at all. No matter what you say, I am not a fan of the show at all. No. It's not a fan.
I gotta move on. I gotta move on, Edge. And I can bet you that
I
until I
mean,
finish you.
what is the point? I understand that the fans who did not tune in last week, it's a bit of a recap for them so they know what's going on with the feud. But there's a difference between running, let's say, a 1 minute or a few seconds highlight to give them an idea what's going on, and a difference between running a 3 or 4 minute highlight. Now, this is really lengthy to be called a highlight. This is a promo in itself. And now, following that promo, we are seeing a backstage segment with Seth Rollins. How many backstage segments are we going to be seeing tonight? Are you gonna book all the matches? Are you gonna book the whole episode tonight on the basis of this whole backstage interviews and backstage segments? Makes zero sense to me.
Not a peep. That's okay. Because the sound of your silence is deafening.
Is Seth Rollins hinting what's yet to come in the WWE draft? Is that the reason why he's wearing red? That's a brave and a very bold choice of colors to be wearing on a SmackDown show on the blue brand. Very, very interesting.
You're ashamed to admit that I may be the reason that you will never compete in a WWE ring ever again. And wow, that's mildly amusing to me.
What are your thoughts, guys? Do you think that they're actually building up the Survivor Series with all these big matches that are being teased with Brock Lesnar, with Seth Rollins? Do you feel like Survivor Series is gonna be the show where everything will go down?
So this is how it's gonna be.
Okay.
You're gonna show up to SmackDown next week.
Okay.
You're gonna crawl yourself to the ring.
Or is it for Saudi Arabia? Is it for Saudi Arabia?
To tell the entire world the truth. That I am not Edge Light. That I am superior to you in every single way. And that I am the man responsible for ending your career.
So he wants Edge to show up on SmackDown the following week, next week, and he wants him to say that, hey, Seth Rollins, ended my career, whatnot. I mean, Extreme Rules is this Sunday. So the only reason why he'd want Edge to show up on next week's SmackDown is because they want to fight, or he wants Edge to fight him in Saudi Arabia. That can be the only reason why. So I don't know. I mean, they do book some great big matches for Saudi Arabia. We all know that, but I feel like those Saudi Arabia shows always underdeliver. They always underdeliver. So I'm concerned. Well, let's see. AJ should do a coin toss. Winner either picks brands or takes first pick. That's actually an interesting idea. That's an interesting idea, actually. Yeah. The coin toss should be both pick brands and first pick KJ. Yeah, interesting. I like how you're coming up with some great ideas, guys. WWE needs a big show, so yeah. Wow, a big show? I don't know if there was pun intended there. Well, wow. I like it. I like, big show. Interesting because I did an interview with Edge for WrestleMania, and he was supposed to be competing in a triple threat match against Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. So I asked Edge a question about the last time when he competed in a triple threat at WrestleMania, which was between John Cena and Big Show. And before asking him that question, I did have this thought in mind that Big Show is now, all elite. I was wondering if Edge would be comfortable answering that question, but I still, me being me, I did ask, I did shoot my shot. I wanted to see how he'd react when I said the name Big Show. I could see a clear change of look on the face of Edge, and he was lost for a second, and then he thought that he thought about it for a second. He thought for an answer, and then he just says that, "Oh, I don't even remember that match. I don't even remember how it played out, but I do remember that John Cena lifted me and Big Show up on his shoulders, and that was crazy." So, I mean, they really try hard not to even mention the stars that have, that are all elite. So that's something very interesting. I mean, Big Show has been with WWE, had been with WWE for years and years and years, for decades. such a long time WWE employee, and for him to be just erased and removed like he didn't even exist is kind of weird. Kind of weird, and especially if you make your own superstars do so. I understand from a managerial point if you don't want to mention it, if you don't want to have him on the promotional packages and whatnot. But during an interview, if you bar your own superstars from even acknowledging your former superstars, it's kind of weird to me. It is weird. Yeah, but again, all the companies have their own stuff. They have their own rules, and we just have to respect that. We have to respect those rules. Yeah. Like I'm not gonna name any company here, but before I do interviews with this certain company, they always put forward their rules, and one of the rules that they have going is you're not gonna talk about Brock Lesnar, you're not gonna talk about the WWE, you're not gonna talk about John Cena, and you're certainly not going to talk about COVID-19. You're not bringing up coronavirus during the interview. So I found that a little absurd, but okay, I get it. I get it. To each their own. And that company is very strict about it. You're not talking about COVID, and that's fine. It's fine. But for them to always bring up John Cena and Brock Lesnar before the interview is a little, weird. Maybe I will get to ask them in the future why do they always pick those two names? But yeah, okay, understandable. But with the COVID thing, I think I still get it. But for them to just point it out, just put it out there that no COVID during the interview, okay. And it's interesting because I did do interviews with this certain company before their pay per view show. And right after the interview, I did end up getting COVID myself. So we could never release those interviews in time for the pay per view. And those have actually gone to the vault of Wrestling News as some of our incredible uh, interviews that have not actually seen the day of light. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe during Wrestling News Week, we will release those interviews. We will show them to the world because those are some fascinating interviews that we have in our Wrestling News Vault. There are a lot of them. So maybe Wrestling News Week will be it. Will be the week that these interviews will finally be out there for the public to tune into. Who knows? But let's see what happens. All right, so now we're seeing Liv Morgan versus Zelina Vega. I think KJ brought up Zelina Vega during our viewing party, our watch along for AEW Dynamite. And I did say it that I'm not the biggest fan. I'm not a fan of Zelina Vega at all. What am I even talking about? Why do I have to butter it up so much? I'm not a fan of Zelina Vega. People love her. I don't. But I do what I really like about Zelina. One thing that I really like about her is that she's a strong person. Her story is incredible. She's been through a lot in her life. She is a 9/11 child. Just has seen a lot in her life, and she has made her way to the top and worked hard to be where she is right now. So I respect Zelina Vega. But am I a fan of her in-ring work or her character in the WWE? I'm not, and I'm just gonna say it as it is. I respect her. I respect Zelina the person, but Zelina the WWE superstar, I'm not a fan of. So this match that we're seeing right now, Liv Morgan versus Zelina, am I excited for it? Not really. Let's see what happens. But not really looking forward to it. If I were to interview a wrestler, I'd love to interview Big E. William, you know, you never know when your wish comes true. Big E, whenever we'd get a chance to interview him, you'd be the one interviewing Big E for sure. I can tell you that. But Big E's super fun. He's a good guy to interact with. I feel like Big E is one of the realest guys. Of course, the whole New Day, the whole faction, all three people are so great. They're so down to earth. But Big E and Kofi, I love these guys in particular a lot because these are real ones. These are the real guys. Very humble, very down to earth. Just love the fans. Genuinely love the fans. Generally love to interact with them. So I love these two a lot. Of course, and now we're seeing Liv Morgan and we're seeing Carmella. And there's one thing that I would like to point here, which I see in both of them, is both of them, this is something that WWE has been trying to do since their days with Emma. If you remember Emma, she was the lady who's currently in Impact Wrestling, and she used to do these things with bursting the bubble by going like this during her entrance. And Emma was a fun character at first, but then they tried to bring the whole evolution thing, where she was this very hot diva like wrestler. Of course, they tried to do that, but then they released her. Then they did the same with Lana, where they tried to pull off that whole Emma thing with her. It didn't work out. Then they tried to do it with Liv Morgan. Worked out, but I don't know why they stopped. I felt like Liv Morgan was able to pull it off pretty well, but when the time that she flirted with Big E and tried to do the angle, sorry, not Big E, but Bobby Lashley, and tried to do the angle with Bobby Lashley and Lana, I felt like it came to a stop right there. Even though the whole character was working out with Liv, it just came to a halt there, and it just had a weird pause. And now we're seeing WWE just pull it off with Carmella right now, and Carmella is a. I feel like she's good looking. She's a good looking superstar. So definitely, it is working out. If they want it to work out, it's going somewhere, I guess. But I feel like it has actually come to a very stagnant point where it is just there, and not something of a great importance. So it's there, it's out there. The character is out there. She dresses the way that she dresses, showing out that character of her from the evolution time, but not the biggest. Not I don't know what they're doing with Carmella, but I found her more entertaining during the time that she teamed up with James Ellsworth. And I was not even a fan of her back then, but I'm still gonna say it. She was more entertaining back then. That's what I feel. Zelina Vega and Liv Morgan going at it right now. Zelina Vega, took advantage of the little distraction there. She is trying to pin Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan is not going to kick out. What a dreadful show. Why am I watching this? Why am I watching this show? I'm down with the weather right now. I have a bad throat. I just finished a cup of coffee and I'm on a second cup of coffee right now. And I'm watching a show where Liv Morgan gets pinned in less than 2 minutes. And with a very weak looking move, it was a very weak roll up pin. We have seen Liv Morgan kick out of, harder moves and, really kick out of better roll up pins than this one. This was pretty weak, but she lost. This match did little to nothing. I don't know. Wow. And just when Carmella was trying to do something with Liv Morgan, I thought that she was actually going to step into the ring, do something. The match actually ended. They are now with a promo video for Happy Corbin, where he's going around spending money. Kind of reminding me of Michael, from GTA 5, going to these expensive saloons, really spending all his money on the different kind of suit, adding to his wardrobe, watches, and whatnot. Happy Corbin is living the life that we all want to live. I'm happy for Happy Corbin, that's for sure. But that match with Liv Morgan was a mess. It was an absolute mess. And I don't know if you noticed that, but they actually played the Tron for Liv Morgan at first and they switched it to Happy Corbin. A little botch right there. But there he is, Happy Corbin, looking very happy. I don't like that hat that he's wearing. I don't know who the guy, who I don't know who the person is, who's responsible for their wardrobe. But I'm not impressed with a lot of superstar outfits tonight. I can tell you that. Not a fan of what that hat. That hat looks bad. That looks really bad. It wouldn't even look good if this was the 1980s or even the 1960s. Maybe it would make a bit more sense in the 1940s. But I think that hat went out of fashion in 1949 or something like that. So yeah, and especially with the clothes that he's wearing, maybe a white hat would have made more sense. But we got a black hat, and this has been a pretty bad show. Wow, pretty bad show. I don't know if even Happy Corbin will be able to save the show. It's been pretty bad, and I don't know. I'm actually very intrigued to see Cage's review tonight, because most of the times we have always agreed on our reviews, and our ratings have been absolutely exactly the same. But I do understand that there might be some people who are enjoying the show tonight because we did get Bianca Belair, we got Becky Lynch, we did get Apollo Cruz. Now we're getting Happy Carbon. We got some good names here and there, and these are some names that are actually loved by the fans. I do understand that, and there, I'm pretty sure that there are some fans out there who are enjoying the show. But for me, I've not been a fan of the show at all because of the number of backstage segments that we got, because of the matches that we've got, because of the way the show opened. I'm not a fan of it at all, and I'm just sticking to my rating of 1 out of 5 for this show for now. Maybe the main event will show it, will change it somehow. Maybe Roman Reigns versus Montez will change it somehow, but let's see. Let's see what happens. And this is kind of a personal bias here, but I don't think that I'll ever be able to get behind Montez Ford and Street Profits in general, and that is because I do find them to be a bit of a Crime Time rip-off. I do find them to be a modern day Crime Time, and I did have the pleasure of and the absolute honor of interviewing Shad Gaspard. It was the last interview, the final interview that Shad could do before his unfortunate passing and very sudden passing. It was terrible. And during this interview, I did ask him about the Street Profits, and he did find it to be sort of a Crime Time ripoff. He did have good things to say about these two, though. He saw them as the future, but still, it's still hard for me to really get behind Street Profits just because of the whole Crime Time stuff. Because I think that Crime Time did a better job at bringing Crime Time than Street Profits ever will. But the fact that Crime Time never actually got the titles or was so underestimated will always hurt me. Yeah, so a little personal bias there. Will YM says that if Roman versus Montez is the main event, I'm expecting the Demon or Brock Lesnar to come out. If Brock Lesnar comes out to build up to the match, if that match is taking place in Saudi Arabia, it'll be a disgrace because they have done little to nothing to build up to the match at Extreme Rules against Demon Finn Balor. They must have this guy, Demon, come out tonight, at least to remind the fans that Demon is actually fighting Roman Reigns this Sunday because, it's something that fans can forget because they have done hardly any job to actually build up to the match. It seems like Finn Balor is not even a concern for him tonight. I mean, Paul Heyman looked more concerned about the fact that Roman Reigns wanted to fight Montez tonight than he looks concerned about the fact that Roman Reigns is fighting the Demon this Sunday. So I haven't heard the mention of Demon Finn Balor at all tonight. So, it brings up the chances of the Demon actually showing up later tonight in the main event. You're right, William. I do agree with you. The Demon has good chances of coming back. Wow, this better not be Logan Paul. I hope Logan Paul is not coming out tonight because I don't want to see him. I don't know if anybody else does, but this is a wrestling show, or apparently a wrestling show. And for Logan Paul to just come out and run his mouth, I don't know.
On SmackDown, it's definitely not like the Kevin Owens show where he brings somebody out, he breaks them down, and he makes everybody sad. No.
Happy Carbon says that this talk show is going to be different.
It's about bringing joy. It's about
okay.
Smiles.
Being Happy Carbon, he wants the talk show to be very positive, very joyful. He wants this talk show to put a smile on the viewer's face, on the guest's face. He says this talk show will be the happiest talk show ever. Okay. It embodies happiness. He says the talk show will embody happiness. It will be unlike the Kevin Owens show or any other talk show we've seen in the WWE, where it usually ends in a bash, in a brawl. This one will end up with people laughing, smiling, and being happy. Interesting.
Why would it not be? I am basically the happiest person in the entire world. I mean, look at me. I'm rich. I'm good looking. I flew here on a private jet. Last night at dinner, the chef, he knew I was there. He brought out a full tasting menu. We had truffles? Oh my God, the truffles. Unbelievable. I'm wearing a beautiful limited edition Rolex. I have a custom $9,000 suit on. Even the inside of this thing is amazing. It's amazing. Look at that.
Happy Corbin just showing off how happy he is, showing off his suit. And I must say, as somebody who really admires suit, that suit does look amazing and it looks great. I said this before. How many times are we going to be seeing highlights from previous weeks on this show? I mean, this show has been about 50% highlights from what we've seen from last week. You know, if they actually want to show us so many highlights, I might just as well miss this show this week and tune in next week because I'm definitely going to find out what I missed this week, right? I mean, uh, this is two shows combined. This is last week's show's highlights plus this week's show, whatever you want to call it. But this is a bad. I don't know if they were falling short of content, but this show has been all highlights, all backstage interviews, backstage segments, and I don't know, bad. Cage just said it for me. It's boring. It's boring.
And I did that with ease. It is amazing and absolutely a great feeling that brings me joy to be that powerful. There's another thing. There's another thing that's been bringing me absolute happiness lately. That thing is this special.
Kevin Owens comes out, and where was that comment made by William? Yeah, there it is. William says that he predicts Logan Paul as Happy Corbin's guest tonight, or Kevin Owens interrupting. William, you are absolutely right, and this is one reason why people should be tuning into William's show with the previews and predictions because we can see he is right. He's absolutely right. Yeah. Okay. I don't know if I'm missing out on something, but is this guy like a known wrestler? Is he famous? Is he somebody that we should be caring about? Because I don't know him. I don't know. This is not NXT 2.0, is it? Like, why are we seeing a new face tonight? I think we see enough of new faces on NXT 2.0, and right now I'm just confused. Is this guy supposed to be somebody I should be popping for? Because I don't know him. Who is he? Who is he? Who is this guy? I don't know this guy. I don't know if I should be popping for him. Like, they're both beating up Kevin Owens. I understand. This is something that Baron Corbin, is having an absolute joy doing. But who is this guy with Happy Corbin? This is weird. This is weird. And if the show actually ends this way, I mean, this. Wow. Okay. Wait a second. So Happy Corbin came out. He said this was going to be the greatest talk show in the history of talk shows in the WWE. He comes out with that statement. All right. This guy Kevin Owens interrupts. He makes his way to the ring. And then this weird unknown guy comes up. He attacks Kevin Owens. These two attack Kevin Owens, eliminate the threat, and the talk show is over. I mean, did Happy Corbin ever have a guest, on the show? Ever? Did he even plan for a guest to come tonight? Because Kevin Owens obviously was interrupting, right? He was not supposed to be the guest, or was he supposed to be the guest? I don't know what was that. I don't know what was that at all. But they attacked Kevin Owens, and that's it. And the talk show ended. Was he never supposed to have a guest? Was the talk show supposed to be about Kevin Owens just interrupting? That was so unnecessary. I don't know, KJ, if that was the NXT guy. I don't know. Really, an unknown guy for sure. And Nikki ASH is here. I would love to pop for Nikki ASH and Rhea Ripley right now because I love these two. I adore these two, but this show has been. I don't know why I got this feeling from the first minute of the show that this show was going to be dreadful. It was going to be bad. And this is exactly what's happening. The show is bad. The show is pretty bad. Hmm. Again, we're seeing highlights again from last week, and just like I said, the show has been nothing but highlights. Just so many highlights throughout the show. This is like I'm watching, last week's show or something. We're getting so many recaps; it's getting annoying at this point. And KJ says that the guy who actually attacked Kevin Owens during that awful segment is Riddick Moss, and Riddick Moss, that name actually now I remember. KJ, I believe that this guy was a part of NXT. He did show up during its black and yellow time, and he's actually appeared on Raw as well, I believe, along with this guy who's not a WWE superstar anymore. I forgot his name totally. Uh, I totally forgot his name. The Hype Bros, one of the Hype Bros. Totally forgot his name now. Wow. But yeah, he did appear on Raw. He's appeared on Raw before, and yeah. So if Nikki is almost a superhero, that means I'm almost a news YouTuber. Yeah, yeah, you are. You are. Wait, breaking news. KJ, what is the breaking news? What am I missing out here? What am I missing out here? Tell me. Is there a news that actually broke? Let me know. Let me know. So we're back to commercial break. And oh, yes. Riddick was with the football guy. Yeah, 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 yeah. And I'm still trying to recall the name of that superstar. It's awful of me to just forget his name. I'm just gonna look it up right now. He's been fired now, which kind of makes sense. So Riddick Moss did make his Raw debut, as I can see right now. Um, Yeah, so Riddick Moss did make his Raw debut on January of 2020, a year prior. And Will Wyatt, thank you, thank you. Mojo Rawley was that guy that Riddick Moss basically made his debut alongside with. I kept forgetting the name Mojo Rawley. Mojo Rawley was the hype bro, and he's no longer a WWE superstar. I don't know. I don't know if you guys have any good memory of Mojo Rawley. Yeah, Mojo Rawley. I know, I know. Mojo Rawley. How could I forget, right? It is terrible. Just terrible. So yeah, Mojo Rawley, I feel like the only memory that I have of him, the pinnacle of his career, was the Andre the Giant battle, Memorial Battle Royal of WrestleMania, where he had this a footballer in his corner, and he won the Battle Royal thanks to him defeating Jinder Mahal. And I felt like Jinder Mahal was so hot, red hot at that time. I felt like Jinder Mahal really needed that win, but he did not. Instead, Mojo Rawley won. And what did they do with that win? Did they capitalize on that win? Did they do anything about it? They did nothing about it. And a few years later, Mojo Rawley is not even a part of the WWE anymore. So a weird booking. I feel like they basically just had him win that match because of Andre, because of that footballer, because they wanted to do something with that guy, and that's the only reason why he won that match. And what did they even do with that footballer? He hosted the WrestleMania 37, which was 36. I'm sorry. Which, by the way, was absolutely awful. He did a horrible job with it. He felt like he was not even a fan. He was just there he was just there for himself, and not because of his love for wrestling. I mean, he couldn't even take a dive without Vince McMahon really convincing him to take a dive by doing it himself. So, really shows the passion that he has for wrestling for sure. Yeah. The only memory I had of Mojo Rawley was his heel turn against Zack Ryder or Bill Wyatt. Yeah, very true, William. I don't even have the memory, honestly. I just remember him with that whole Andrew the Giant guy with the footballer. That's it. So Pat McAfee and Michael Cole.
Allow you to end it this way. I demand you show up at Friday Night SmackDown. Hey, basically begged them for the second straight week for the Rated R superstar to show up, and we have
Again, they're talking about.
Edge has taken to Twitter
Of course. So now they're revealing that Edge has actually accepted Seth Rollins' invitation, and he will be showing up at SmackDown next week. Like, my only question is Edge not employed by the WWE? If he is able to actually show up and compete, if he's healthy enough to do that, why didn't he show up tonight? Why did he have to wait for Seth Rollins to actually invite him over to the show? He is a part of SmackDown. He belongs to the roster. So why did he have to wait for an invitation? He should have been here already. Weird, but I'm just putting it out there. So we're going to be seeing Edge and Seth Rollins face to face, hopefully not in a backstage segment, at SmackDown next week. And I have all the feelings in the world that this is going to lead to a match in Saudi Arabia. And we all know how Saudi Arabia matches usually go down. We've seen the return of Shawn Michaels. We've seen Goldberg and the Undertaker. We've seen all these spots. We've seen the Greatest Royal Rumble, and we all know how the matches turn out. They do sound very good on paper. The match card sounds fantastic. It sounds unbelievable. But at the end of the day, because it's so hyped up, because it's so overproduced, because they try so hard, the matches always underdeliver, and there are always botches. And there is some level of uncomfort. We've seen some controversy here and there as well with Saudi Arabia. But yes, and interesting. I will just point this out right now. The fact is that if you look at Saudi Arabia and some of the WWE superstars who refuse to go to Saudi Arabia, look at Daniel Bryan, look at Malachi Black, Aleister Black, who was formerly known as in the WWE. He was banned from Saudi Arabia because of his tattoos. Daniel Bryan, of course, refused to go to to Saudi Arabia as well with the WWE, and all these superstars are not no longer with the company anymore, so they're not even a part of it. Interesting to say the least. And one guy who actually loved going to Saudi Arabia, we know it. He loved the money. He loved being there. Is Braun Strowman, who is no longer with the company. So yeah, I still remember that very first time that WWE went to Saudi Arabia for their event. I believe it was the Greatest Royal Rumble, and for that event, this guy Braun Strowman actually won the Greatest Royal Rumble championship. He won that green belt for the I don't know what they call it, but he won the WWE Saudi Arabian belt, if that's what you want to call it. And that was the one and the only time we saw that title on TV, and we saw it. We never saw it again. It was gone. It was history. The same night that we saw it, it retired. And I was just talking about Saudi Arabia. And this match is already over. I just started talking about it. This match is over in less than a minute. These matches, NXT 2.0 was a better show this week than SmackDown. It had better action, it had better segments, it had better promos. And now we have Shotzi Blackheart. If this show was not awful enough, we have Shotzi and Nax coming out. And, I don't know. Not a fan at all. Not a fan at all. So why I'm with all the facts right here. You have a bad memory, especially under the weather. I'm really having a bad memory tonight. And Will I am says that it was literally called the Greatest Royal Rumble Championship, and we never saw it ever on WWE TV. That was the one and the only time that we saw it. But let's see how they're able to manage this year's Saudi Arabian event with some of the biggest names that Saudi Arabia absolutely loves. And not being a part of the show, the Undertaker is not going to be there, and he is one guy that Saudi Arabia loves having. Pretty sure Shawn Michaels won't be there. I think that Kane won't be there either. Let's see what happens. But I know that Saudi Arabia loves the WWF superstars, loves the long time WWE superstars. They love the old guys. So Goldberg's going to be there for sure. But let's see. Let's see what else can WWE do to make those people happy? Because I'm pretty sure they're not gonna be happy enough with just Roman Reigns or Goldberg. They would want something more. They're getting Edge, but I'm pretty sure they would want something more because they pay crazy amount of money to the WWE. So let's see how are they gonna be able to make them happy. And another backstage segment. This show has been nothing but backstage segments and highlights with a few matches here and there, which are just a few minutes long, if not under a minute long.
Hey, take it easy, take it easy. I'm not here to fight. Listen, I couldn't help but overhear some of that. I just wanted to tell you something. Look, I know your confidence is probably a little shaky after losing to me a few times. I want to tell you there's nothing to be ashamed of. I am one of the very best to ever do this. I have been in the ring with some of the very best to ever do this.
So here we see a segment with Rey Mysterio and Dominic. And of course, Dominic is tired of living in Rey Mysterio's shadow. I mean, he did seem fine until the camera actually got on these two. These two looked like they were having a good time, maybe playing Fortnite. I don't know. They were on the phone. Maybe they were watching my watch along. We don't know. But they were doing something on the phone, and the camera actually focused on them, and they realized it. And then Dominic was like, wait a minute, I just remembered. I don't even want to be living in your shadow. I don't want nothing to do with you. And then Rey Mysterio just went off. And now Sami Zayn is here. He's filling Dominic's ears. And yeah, definitely influencing him in some way. I know William. I know William, brother. This show has been awful. This show has been. I don't know. I don't know how was I able to predict, the ratings for this show. Just what, like 10 minutes into the show, with the way that the show opened, the first match, I had a feeling that this show wasn't going to be the greatest, and it is not. But look what we have here. We have Naomi, who demanded to be on the show last week. She said that she better get some TV time, and there she is. She's making her entrance. She looks happy to at least be a part of the show. I know that this show is for this show. Considering the people who actually have been on the show, the show opened with Becky Lynch. Opened with Bianca Belair. The show had, sorry, I was saying Ruby Riott. The show had Liv Morgan, Zelina Vega, Naomi. I feel like this show is actually quite women dominated, even though the segments have been short, the matches have been awfully short. I feel like this show has more of an appeal to those people who are interested in women's wrestling, and I'm pretty sure that they're having a good time watching the show tonight. But for me, not a big fan. Not a big. It's not that I'm not a big fan of women's wrestling. I love women's wrestling, but with the show, the way the show has been booked, the matches have been booked just awfully short. Too many backstage segments. Too many highlights from last week. No, no, not a fan. Not a fan. Naomi still works here, William. Yep, she does. She does. I don't expect this match to be very long either. Probably gonna be what, like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, not more than that. Definitely not more than that. All right, guys, I'm gonna be taking a break for what, like a few seconds now, or maybe a couple minutes, and we'll be back just as when SmackDown goes back on air after the commercials. This show has been really gruesome. It's been really hard. Unlike other shows where we actually have a lot of fun, covering them and actually going through the show, even the 3 hour Raw is fine, but the 2 hour SmackDown tonight has been awfully painful, to say the least. I cannot wait for Cage's review for the show because I want to see what does he have to say. If I'm the only one who finds tonight's show awfully bad, or is it everybody, or is it William as well? I'm gonna be back after this little commercial in just a few minutes. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. Alright, we're back. And Naomi is here cutting a promo. She is out here and she wants a match. She's issuing an open challenge for anybody to come out and face her in the ring. Sonya Deville says no, it's not happening. Since she makes the matches, no open matches apparently for Naomi.
And make a match between me and you. Naomi, everyone knows I'd smack the glow right off your face. Come on now. Bye. Don't get excited. I'm not going to because I'm no longer a competitor. I am your boss and a WWE official. Not a good one.
I know, KJ, I know. I know.
You can do the one job you got, and that's make the match.
William, KJ, you guys have no idea how I'm sitting through this show tonight. The most unbelievable part of this is that fans are actually cheering on Naomi right now in this segment here. It's awful. It's awful. People actually want Sonya Deville versus Naomi. Okay. And her mic's been cut off. I couldn't have been happier. That's great. Get the security out there. Get her out of the ring. End this segment. It's god awful. I think the only thing that we can be grateful about for this segment is that it wasn't actually backstage like all the other segments on the show.
Everything else is downhill from there. We've given you chance after chance after chance, and you constantly drop the ball. So you want to be mad at somebody, be mad at yourself.
Wow. And with that hair, Naomi is actually giving Bianca Belair a run for her money. I wouldn't be surprised if Bianca Belair actually comes up with a ponytail if Naomi comes up with a ponytail like Bianca Belair, and we see a battle of the ponytails where the loser cuts off their ponytail. It can happen, you never know, it's the WWE. So Bianca Belair versus Naomi, hair versus hair match, that is something money. That is something I would tune into. Honestly, wow. Why am I not booking the show? Guys, listen in. Bianca Belair versus Naomi, hair versus hair match. That is something money. That is a WrestleMania standard match. Let's do it. Let's book it. If you really want to book these ladies like their life is on the line, let's do Bianca Belair versus Naomi. Both have long hair. Both love how they look. And why not do it? That would be something interesting for once. And Roman Reigns is now ready. He's making his way. Is this main event time? It looks like it is. But before main event, it's got to be commercial time. And wow, Otis. Who remembers this guy? Otis, former Mr. Money in the Bank, Chad Gable. This is a very funny thing. Wow. This is something I want to say. We've seen this time and again. A team splits up, and then they cannot do anything in the solo run. They're just awful in solo way, and then they get back together and they think that things are going to change and people are going to get behind them once again. And that's what they're trying to do with Otis and Chad Gable. They were both awful in on their individual solo runs, and now they're back together with no explanation whatsoever. They're just standing by side to side. They're wearing matching singlets. They look cute together, and they feel like the fans are going to get behind them. I don't know if I'm one of those fans, but I'm definitely not one of those fans who are going to be getting behind Otis and Chad Gable, because all that they've done so far, at least tonight, is stand side by side, wearing matching singlets, and looking very cute like that. Nothing else. Not enough for me to actually cheer them on. Wow. And Montez is now making his way to the ring, and I'm so excited. I've never been this excited for a WWE main event match in years than I am for this one, because this main event actually means that the show is coming to a damn end, and I can't wait for this show to end because it's been god awful. It's been awful. And before we get to the main event, it's time for commercial, and yeah, we're cutting to commercial in 3, 2, 1, and yeah, we did cut to commercial right in time, and gosh. Just like I said, the show has been awful, guys. It's been awful from the first minute. Gosh, it's been a bad show. It's been a bad show. And I say it as is. If you feel like I'm just hating this show and I'm hating on the WWE and I'm gonna cheer on AEW right after this watch along, you're wrong because I'm not a AEW mark. I'm not a WWE mark. I say it as it is. If AEW puts on a bad show, I'll say it. If WWE puts on a bad show, which they're doing right now tonight with SmackDown, I'll say it. AEW is a pre-recorded show. The results are out there. All you have to do is Google AEW Rampage Grand Slam results. You'll get the results. But I can bet on anything that tonight's Rampage is going to defeat SmackDown in terms of ratings. People can actually easily skip tonight's show because they already know what the results are. They already know who's winning, who's losing, what the match order is like. They know everything. But people are still going to tune in tonight, and I'm telling you, it's going to happen. People are going to tune in tonight, and Rampage is going to beat SmackDown in ratings because SmackDown, being a live show, could not deliver what Rampage is going to deliver, being a pre-recorded show. Rampage is gonna just going to be a big slap to the face of SmackDown. And I feel bad. I feel bad for all those people involved. It's not the talent that's bad, it's the booking just that is awful. If you look at the whole show that we've seen tonight, the way it started, the way it'll end, I don't know how it'll end, but the whole thing has been bad. Name one superstar who has been booked strongly. Name one superstar who is actually taking something out of tonight's show. Name one feud that tonight's show actually, made it even better or made it hotter, made that feud worth keeping an eye out on. Name something that the show did something for tonight. Somebody that the show helped in some way. Nothing at all. The show has been awful, and there's nothing flashy about it. I cannot put any fancy words out there. I can't try to come up with excuses for tonight's show because it's been awful. It's been bad. And just like I said, I'm under the weather. I am not feeling the greatest tonight. I really had to drag myself to this wrestling show. And being a wrestling fan, being an admirer of wrestling, wrestling is the one thing that can actually work better than medicines can for me. And wrestling can actually make me feel better when I'm not feeling the best. And I was hoping to feel the same way with tonight's show. I thought that, hey, I'm not feeling the greatest today. If I tune into SmackDown and I watch the show, and if I watch these incredible talent and the performance and the storylines and whatnot, I will start to feel better. But this show has actually started to make me feel worse. So I'm glad that Rampage is a thing and it's happening right over SmackDown because that is gonna be my medicine tonight. Rampage hopefully will deliver and will make me feel better because this show was awful. Was awful. And now we're getting a promo for NXT 2.0, and this is the second or third time. Wow, Toxic Attraction. We saw Toxic Attraction, now I already feel better. I mean, if I'm watching all these NXT stars. Okay, one very interesting thing. During this NXT commercial, we saw two kisses, which really shows that this was a little commercial, a few seconds long, and we saw two kisses, which shows actually two kisses and zero wrestling. We saw entrances, we saw segments during this commercial, we saw two kisses but zero wrestling, no footage of wrestling whatsoever, which kind of shows the direction that they want the NXT brand to head to. They want it to be more entertainment than wrestling. I can see that with that promo right there, with that commercial right there. But I don't mind it. I don't mind it because I'm a wrestling fan. I'm not an MMA fan. I'm here not just for the fights. I'm here also for the wrestling. And if they want to take that show in that direction of entertainment, I would not mind that. And they've got some amazing wrestlers too, which because of which I feel like it's going to be great.
I'm back out, but you kept pushing me and
Becky
pushing
Lynch.
me and pushing me. The EST may be the strongest, but she's also the dumbest. I have been champion every active day I've been in WWE since WrestleMania 35. Everything in my life may have changed, but that canvas is the same. You think I'm scared of someone I can beat in 26 seconds? No. But this time, I'm gonna make you suffer. There is no terrible way to win. There is only winning. And at Extreme Rules, I'm not just gonna beat you. I'm gonna break you.
I'm not even going to talk about this little backstage segment with Becky Lynch because the show has been nothing but backstage segments. I mean, the people who bought tickets to the show could have been at home, and I'm pretty sure that all at least 50% of those people would have switched channels because of how awful this show has been. I feel bad for everybody who purchased tickets, and just to watch all these backstage segments on the Tron. Bad, really bad. And we're gonna see an entrance by Roman Reigns now. I hope that Roman Reigns is quick on his feet and is able to make the way to the ring fast because I want this to get over with ASAP. And we're seeing AR Roman Reigns floating in the air right there. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, for 389 days, this man, Roman Reigns, has ruled the WWE Universe as its Universal Champion. The hardest working.
Tonight's booking for the main event makes no sense. Montez Ford versus Roman Reigns makes zero sense. Just like Will Williams said, William, by the way, the guy who's going to be doing predictions and previews for us every single week for every single wrestling show out there, he said that tonight Kevin Owens was going to interrupt this guy's Happy Carbons segment. He did interrupt. William has been right about all the predictions that he's made tonight. And he said that Demon Balor is going to be interfering in this match or costing Roman Reigns the match. And I do feel like it's going to happen as well. So, William, you've been just 100% with the predictions. And that is the one reason why I'm even looking more forward to your predictions and previews now than I was earlier because I know that you're spot on with the predictions. And can't wait to see how you predict the Extreme Rules match card because I'm pretty sure that most of your predictions are going to turn out to be spoilers. So looking forward to it. Oh wow! And now WWE finally remembered that Roman Reigns is actually wrestling this 6th Sunday at Extreme Rules against Demon Balor, and that's why for the first time tonight they're actually promoting the match. Nice, nice. Yes, tomorrow William is down to do the predictions, so guys, make sure to tune in tomorrow on Wrestling News YouTube channel as William will be predicting the Extreme Rules card. It's going to be great. And of course, we're going to be seeing all these incredible matches, apparently incredible matches, which also includes a U.S. title match. It's going to be a triple threat between Hardy, Sheamus, and Damian Priest. And we're going to see a women's title match. This is the only match on the Extreme Rules card that I'm actually looking forward to. And the match is between Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss with Lily in her corner. It's got to be for the Raw Women's title. The only match I'm actually honestly looking forward to because that is the most unpredictable match on the card in my books. We can see about the U.S. title match, the tag team titles, the Universal title. All these matches are pretty predictable, I feel. But that match, Charlotte Flair versus Alexa Bliss, is something special. I feel like with Lily, if she gets involved, it could be some kind of a gimmick match, but something that I'm looking forward to. As I said, we're watching wrestling, not MMA, and I welcome gimmicks and I welcome the side of entertainment that we get in professional wrestling. Roman Reigns, Montez Ford. This is perhaps the biggest match of Montez Ford's career. And he looks a bit nervous, but he looks ready. He's main eventing SmackDown against Roman Reigns, which is a pretty big night for Montez Ford, to say the least. And guys, if you're tuning in right now, don't go anywhere, as we will be back right after this coverage of SmackDown. We will be back with a live watch along for AEW Rampage Grand Slam Edition, where AJ and KJ, the Ultimate Wrestling News duo, are going to be covering Rampage live. So don't go anywhere. Tune into Wrestling News live coverage of Rampage. It's going to be great. I'm excited. Can't wait and want this to get over with fast, honestly. Roman Reigns versus Montez. I hope Demon Balor just comes out now and just puts an end to this. 20 minutes for Montez versus Roman. Yeah, something's. Yeah, you're right, William. You're right. You're right. I can't believe the 20 minutes still left. They say that time flies when you're having a good time, and I totally agree with that statement because time is not flying tonight. It is not. This seems lengthier than Raw ever has. That was so weak. That kick was so weak. Roman barely shook at all, and he had to force himself out of the ring, and you can actually see it. He forced himself out of the ring. He was not kicked out of the ring. He forced himself out. Weird, to say the least. KJ says it will be 3 minutes of action. You're right, you're right. It will be 3 minutes of actual wrestling. This show has been awful. Just awful. All right, just like I said, guys, don't go anywhere because we've got a long night ahead planned for us, for you, the fans. Just as SmackDown goes off the air, KJ and I will be going live and we'll be covering AEW Rampage live and watching it along with all of you. Right after Rampage goes live, KJ will be pulling a double duty just like I am right now, and he's going to be reviewing both Rampage and SmackDown in the most concise and the best manner possible. He's going to be telling you his unbiased opinion on both the shows and telling you which one actually won the night. Is it going to be Rampage? Is it going to be SmackDown? Early prediction: it is going to be It is going to be a Rampage, and I feel like Rampage could as well defeat SmackDown in terms of overall ratings for the first time ever tonight, because Rampage is a 2 hour long show. It's even though it's a pre-recorded show, I feel like it will be a lot better than SmackDown has been. SmackDown's been awful. It's been awful. So let's see. Tonight's show of SmackDown really reminds me why the WWE draft is so important, especially this year, because the shows have been bland. I mean, I'll say this: starting last week with Raw, I felt like I was seeing some hope. The shows were getting better. Raw was good last week. Raw was good this week. SmackDown was good last week. SmackDown is awful this week. Just awful. And yeah. All right. So we are still on commercial. And let us know, guys. Let us know in the comments what do you feel about, what we're seeing right now. Are you happy? Are you impressed? Are you gonna be tuning into SmackDown next week? Because I don't know if I'll be. I mean, honestly, who am I kidding? I will be tuning in because I love to watch these shows with all of you. So definitely will be tuning in every single week. It's not just about the shows. It's also about watching it together with you, the fans, and that is where I have the most pleasure. So I will definitely be tuning in. Right. So we're still on commercial, and I don't mind these commercials at all because I'm not enjoying the show at all. Right. So this seems to be a new commercial that they brought up for Extreme Rules. Good, because the commercial that they were running currently was bad. But I don't know if it's a little too late to run such a commercial now. This was not even an Extreme Rules commercial. This was a commercial for no cigarettes, and cigarettes are bad for your health. So if you're watching this right now, my advice to you is don't smoke. It's bad. It's really awful. It's more awful than SmackDown's been. So if you're watching this right now, yeah, and if you haven't ever smoked in your life yet, congratulations to you. Don't even try it. It's not the best thing that you do for yourself. Meanwhile, in Philadelphia, it is a city that Roman Reigns fondly remembers. It was back in 2015 where Roman Reigns would win the Royal Rumble match here. All right, and KJ, I know you're watching this right now. This is not. This is not. A, actually, consider this some kind of a promo on KJ right here. Consider this a call out, KJ. If you have the guts, if you are brave enough, check the email that I've sent to you right now. Check the email. You'll get it. You'll get what I mean. All right. So Roman Reigns is in control of the match. Not too surprising. He had to be in control. Montez Ford is down and out, and yeah, just just an let's just wait for Demon Balor to make his elaborate entrance. Let's wait. I feel like what this SmackDown has for the rest of the night for us is two more commercials, an elaborate entrance, or maybe a sudden appearance by Demon Finn Balor. The Demon takes out Roman Reigns. I mean, the Demon has to go over tonight. The Demon has to look strong tonight because he will be losing at Extreme Rules. So there is no way that he does not look strong tonight. He has to look strong tonight. That's for sure. That is for sure. And yet I was feeling the same way about Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch because I felt like Becky Lynch went over last week. It would have made no sense for Becky Lynch to go over this week as well if she is supposed to be winning at Extreme Rules. And of course, Bianca Belair went over this week. She laid down Becky Lynch before leaving the ring. So, which makes it more likely that Becky Lynch will most likely be losing at Extreme Rules and Bianca Belair. I'm sorry, Becky Lynch will be winning at Extreme Rules and Bianca Belair will be the one who will be losing at the Sunday. It's too. I feel like it's too early for Becky Lynch to even lose the match because what was the even point? I mean, if she loses at Extreme Rules, what was the point of her winning at SummerSlam at all? Because I feel like she would carry the title to Saudi Arabia or to Survivor Series as well. Because she is the man, they will book her as the man. They will book her as somebody special. So she. What? Montez Ford just stepped on the announce table and it shattered. It fell apart. That was bad. Oh gosh, this show has been awful. But the fact that Montez Ford, being the lightweight he is, he can probably qualify for a cruiserweight. He just stepped on the commentator's desk, and this whole table just fell apart. That was the worst thing that's ever happened because that literally showed us how weak these tables are. And this table was just put together in such a weak manner. But you know what? Good, because we did not have to see an awful table spot there. Didn't want to see it. I'm glad that it's done with. I'm glad the table is already over because this makes it this actually brings one less spot to the match and makes the match hopefully shorter. So yeah, but that was awful. That was awful. The table just falling apart was awful. And the match is back. The commercials are back. The match is on a break again. Montez Ford is gonna be down and out for the rest of 2 minutes. What time is it? Let's see. All right, so we have 15 minutes more. I guess that we will see one or two commercials more before the night is finally over for SmackDown and the WWE. Cannot wait for Rampage. I haven't been more excited for AEW. I was not even more excited for AEW for CM Punk than I'm right now. When CM Punk made his debut, yes, I was looking forward to AEW, but now I just want AEW to be on so I could be rescued from WWE because the show has been just bad. This show has been bad. I want to get over with it, and I want to move over to AEW. Gosh. You know, all the people who are actually live streaming and doing a watch along for SmackDown, I've got to give a lot of credit to them because the show has been a different beast. The show has not been the easiest to cover. So everybody who's doing this right now, just I've got respect for you. And William says this has got to be the worst wrestling show I've seen all year. It's been bad. It's been awful. I don't know if it's me who's putting this into your mind, guys. That this show has been so bad, but this show has been okay. William says that I'm reading his mind, and D-Star says, "How have you stayed awake during this?" And D-Star, good to see you again. I'll tell you, it's been hard. It's been awfully hard, and I don't know. I don't know, man. Like I haven't been feeling too well. I thought that wrestling being wrestling, it would work like medicine for me because I love wrestling, but it's been bad. It's been bad. The show has been bad, and I've got no words. And it's funny because early on in the show, I would say the first segment into the show, with the Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair, I gave it a rating of 2.2. Actually, I gave it a rating of 2 out of 5. I said I will give the show an early rating. I'm gonna predict the rating for the show. I give it a 2 out of 5, but the show has been so bad halfway through the show, I dropped the rating down to a 1 out of 5. But right now, as I'm watching this, we have already seen two commercials during this Reigns and Montez Ford main event, which I wouldn't even call a main event. It's been a botch fest with the table and whatnot. It's been boring. It's been a snooze fest. We will see Demon Balor, and as much as I enjoy seeing Demon Balor, I'm not excited for it at all tonight. I'm gonna give the show for the first time ever a 0 out of 5 rating. I will give it a 0 out of 5. That's it. I'm not giving the show any rating because had I skipped the show, I would have been happier than I am watching the show. I'm actually regretting tuning in tonight. So the show wasted my time, and there is no reason for me to give it a 1 out of 5 rating. I'll give it a 0. It's been a bad show. If you take Bianca and Roman away, it's true. It's very true. What else did the show even have? What else did it have? It had nothing else. It was awful. And can you believe the amount of backstage segments that we had tonight? I mean, from the start till the finish, the show had more backstage segments than it had action in the ring. The backstage segments, I believe, are longer than actual wrestling matches. The wrestling matches that we saw during this show were shorter than what we saw on NXT 2.0. It's been a bad, bad, bad show. I'll tell you that. And the highlights of the show are actually Roman Reigns and Bianca Belair and maybe Becky Lynch. Nothing else. Bad show. Really bad show. And they say that SmackDown is better than Raw. I don't know. And actually, Roman Reigns was also on Raw this past week. So it shows that how desperately they need crossovers and a draft to happen because even Roman Reigns cannot carry an awful show as it's been tonight. It's been bad. The draft needs to save SmackDown. It has no talent. You know, I watched Impact Wrestling yesterday. I can safely say this. Those were also 2 hours of wrestling at Impact. These are also 2 hours of wrestling. I saw more action, I saw more wrestling on Impact than I'm seeing tonight on SmackDown. Impact was a better show, way better show. I can't even compare Impact and SmackDown this week. Impact was so much better. If you guys are tuning in, I know D-Star asked me this question yesterday. I know a lot of you guys, are wondering this as well. Whether to tune into Impact or not. I will say this, keeping tonight's show in mind, I would say tune into Impact, skip SmackDown until they get their stuff together, until they get their act together, because this show has been awful. Impact was a better show than SmackDown this week, and it really goes on to prove how awful the show has been. I am giving the show a 0 out of 5 rating, and even an appearance by Demon Balor or even Brock Lesnar is not going to change the rating for me because the show has been god awful. It's been just bad. And, making something happen last minute is no excuse for the 2 hours of pain and misery that you've put us through. It's been a bad show. All right, Big E is here, and Big E says, Okay, he says that he can beat Roman Reigns. Okay, I would probably be more interested in seeing a match between Big E in our comment section and Roman Reigns than I'm interested in seeing Montez Ford versus Roman Reigns, because at least Big E versus Roman would be something fresh, something new, and something unpredictable. This one, on the other hand, is way too predictable. We all know how it's going to go down. Finn Balor is going to make an appearance, or even if it does not, it wouldn't surprise me, because WWE has done nothing at all to build to their match at Extreme Rules. It's been an awful show, awful booking, awful creative, and just awful SmackDown. Just an awful show. William. Yeah, I'd love to see William versus Montez Ford as well. Yep. So big Roman Reigns has put Montez Ford in a sleeper hold here, and it seems like Montez Ford has tapped. The match is over. The show, I feel like, is going to be over soon. But the fact that that Finn Balor did not show up during this match as well shows that WWE is not concerned about their match at Extreme Rules at all. They're not. They didn't even make the little attempt to book to really get the fans hyped about Finn Balor. I'm pretty sure he might just show up now that the match is over. Something will happen, because they have done nothing to hype the fans about Sunday. Nothing at all. This was the Extreme Rules Go Home show of SmackDown. Let's not even talk about Roman Reigns versus Finn Balor. What else they had to done to build to the other matches to create this hype, this sensation? Nothing, nothing. So are we just supposed to tune into Extreme Rules because it's a pay-per-view and pay-per-views are supposed to be special? Bad. Bad booking.
What happens when Roman Reigns takes it to the extreme?
So it looks like Roman Reigns is going to be beating up Montez Ford a little more. He's going to be putting him through some kind of pain. And once that is over, or once that's going on, once he punishes Montez Ford, Finn Balor is going to come to his rescue. That's exactly what's happening. Look, no matter how solid, if it's going to be solid at all, no matter how solid these last 5 minutes of the show are going to be, these are still the last 5 minutes of the show. These guys had the entire show, these guys had 2 hours to entertain us. And if they're going to entertain us during the last 5 minutes of those 2 hours, fuck this show. I'll say this. Fuck this show and just fuck the creative, because if they really feel like this is how they're going to be selling the show to the fans, this is not it. This is not something that I'm looking forward to. This is not the kind of entertainment that I expect from these people. Is Finn Balor going to come out now? This is going to come out now. This is how they're selling the Extreme Rules match. This is how they're selling the Extreme Rules stipulation. They're having a wooden table out there. They're gonna putting monitors through it because it's an Extreme Rules match. So of course, tables are involved, right?
Just a tiny taste of what could happen to the demon on Sunday.
Finn Balor is now out. The lights go out. Only little kids would cheer for this right now. I've got no words. I've got no words for this show. I've got to give credit to Pat McAfee for still having that energy to call this match and actually be hyped about it. Ah, gosh. And whoever the lady who's screaming right now, because what? Fine. Nobody can get paid enough to call the action for tonight's SmackDown. The show is over, guys. This has been an awful SmackDown. I'm giving it a 0 out of 5 rating. If you're watching this right now, don't go anywhere as we are now doing a watch along for AEW Rampage and with KJ. Hopefully, it'll be a better show than what we saw tonight with SmackDown. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with KJ and AJ with AEW Rampage. See you soon. Thank you.